So in order to provide a bit of structure to all this exploration, what we really recommend is for you to set up a matrix of options. So different sectors that you might consider according to your interests, and then different functions that you might consider in terms of using your motivated skills. Now, what we recommend when you're setting up this matrix of options is that you should choose, the safe options, things that you have always considered, but then also take the opportunity to explore something completely different. Maybe you're passionate about music, so why not explore options for jobs in the music industry? Or if you're passionate about sport, well, do the same thing. So, you can choose some classic ones, but then also we really encourage you to look at other options, because there's a whole world beyond the classic options. Now, in terms of how to do this exploration, anybody coming to do a program at ESA has an access to a wonderful network. And I'm not only talking about the general ESA alumni network. Your classmates alone constitute an incredible source of information. Many of them might actually already work for the job functions and the sectors that you're looking to explore in. So, you can kick off with them. The greater ESA community, and here I'm talking about staff, faculty, we have seen executives coming through ESA for years and years. So we can also recommend, people that you should talk to. LinkedIn has a wonderful resource now where anybody that states that they've been to a program at ESA can be searched on. And you can search for them by location, you can search for them in terms of the companies that they work in and the sectors that they work in, even on the basis of what they do, also the job function and skills. So use a LinkedIn resource. It has very up-to-date information, and it also has information of people that maybe are currently not working in that position but have worked there before. So they could also be a great source of advice. Now, what would you ask them once you contact them? For me, there are 4 key things that you need to ask them. I mean, in the resources section, I'll be putting up a whole list of different questions that one can ask in an informational interview. But for me, there are 4 fundamental things that you need to really address. The first thing is, how do you spend your day? Typically, how do you spend your day? Because then you can really understand whether that job function is right for you. Some people love spending all day crunching on Excel, and other people, would be horrified by doing that. So you need to ask these very specific questions of, is your day spent developing relationships with people? Is it spent closing deals? Is it spent, coming up with financial models? How is it exactly that you spend your day? Because then you can match that to the type of things that you like doing. Another question I would ask is, what key skills are required to succeed in this role? Because that will really help you understand where you are versus where you want to be. And you can really start using the MBA to develop the knowledge and the skills that you're lacking. That information will also really help you understand how to position yourself at the time of going for a job. If you really understand that what is really key in this role is a capacity for developing relationships, then this is what you need to emphasize during the interview. Another question I would ask is, what background is typically required? In an ideal world, it would be wonderful to be able to jump directly into the things that you want to go for, but sometimes you need to have a step in between. We do have some students that do the triple jump, which is changing sector, function, and geography all at the same time. But the job market is now very conservative, and it's much more difficult to make a radical career change than it was before. Not impossible, but definitely much more difficult. I think if you can't get to your objective directly, then you have to be intelligent enough that you have to do a short-term step in order to get a long-term gain. So I think if you really start asking questions around, what is a typical background around this job, then you can understand what your next step has to be. And finally, the 4th question I would ask is start getting a lot of information about how people get jobs in this, because that will really help you determine what your job search strategy is going to be. If you understand that this sector works basically on networking, and just to give you an example, private equity, hardly any positions get advertised for private equity. It all works on the basis of networking. And if you understand that at the time that you're doing your interviews, then you're not going to be waiting around for job postings to be published, because you understand that the way to get that job is to start networking with people working within private equity. Now, what's very important in this whole process is that you register your impressions, because once you start interviewing an awful lot of people, all that information becomes a mess. So for every interview, just make sure that you really put down what it was that you liked about it, what it was that you didn't like about it, because it also helps in the clarifying process. If you'll begin to see patterns in the things that you like and the things that you don't like, and that will help you very much clarify what your job objectives are going to be. So hopefully after you've done this whole process, you've done your due diligence of talking to different people, doing this job function in these sectors, so you'll be able to start narrowing your choices. And then at the time of approaching the job market, instead of hitting every objective that you think might be interesting, you're actually hitting the ones that really suit you.